What's up guys, my name is Zero Heroes and welcome back to more Gates of Hell. Now just before we get into today's video, I'd just like to announce that I am going on a holiday to the Netherlands for this week for 5 days. So uploading will probably be, cut down quite a lot. So I might be uploading shorts or something. I'll sort of bring my laptop and maybe even do a wee vlog of the Netherlands for, I don't know, some tips and tricks as a solo traveler because I'm traveling myself. So if anybody is, traveling to the Netherlands or something like that, please give me tips and tricks. Or if anybody lives there, please give me tips and tricks of what's to do in the Netherlands and all that. So yeah, but definitely shorts or something will be uploaded during the week at some point. Anyway, let's get back to today's video, which is going on to the Reddit page, the Gatesfell Reddit page, and just looking at yours guys' comments or things you've had to say about Gates of Hell. And one post really caught my eye, and this is this: a couple of improvements could make a world of difference. And it's uploaded by a guy called Helminton. So a big shout out to you for uploading this post, as I've just read this before we recorded, and everything that I've seen here I 100% agree with. There's not one thing on this list that I don't agree with, and I feel like Gatesfell should take notice to this post and this video to help improve the game a lot better, because as you know, the game is still in development. Even though it is a full released game, it's still getting updates all the time and releasing new DLCs, and I would say that it is getting to the standards or even better than Men of War Squad 2, because that game was an absolute legend of the game, probably one of the best games I've played of all time. And unfortunately it died with, Call to Arms as well. And going on from that, Gates of Hell has kind of is a replacement of Men of War Squad 2, and hopefully it's going to be better. Anyway, so what is this post about? So basically it's basically improvements of what could make Gates of Hell a lot of a better game. And I'm going to be doing a new series on this, of reading your guys' post on Reddit to see what really stands out in the Gates of Hell community of Reddit, and telling you guys, whether I agree with it or not. So if you'd like to see, videos like this, and make sure you subscribe. If you're new, like this video if you want to see more content like this, and we are almost at 2,000 subscribers. So if we can get there before the end of the year, that'd be great. But let's go on to the first thing, which is so there's 10 points here. Of course, I'll zoom in so you guys can see it hopefully clearly. And that is, the first one is, let us cancel reloads and direct control. Now, I agree with 100% agree with this, and the reason why I feel like they should allow us to cancel our reloads and direct control is because if you are in, if you're in a battle with a soldier and you take direct control, but you've kind of killed all the enemies and you have got like half a magazine in your gun, you're not able to reload that, so you're only able to have to deal with the shots that you have left within the gun, such as if it's like you have 60 rounds or something like that, or you have 16 rounds and you have 6 bullets left, but you have to stick with those 16 bullets to go on to kill another bunch of enemies, and then you have to awkwardly then reload during the midst of having a one-to-one combat battle. So I feel like this is something that should definitely be added to the game, and this allows us to then cancel reload and then reload a new magazine as it kind of, as we prepare for, as a soldier you're directing is going on to the next battle, and then you have a full magazine to go on and unload on the next couple groups. So I kind of 100% agree on this cancel reloads, as allows us to get rid of the old magazine and then put a new one in. Number 2, let us vault in first person and fixing vaulting in general. Now, vaulting in general, I have to say, is something that's always going to need to be fixed, because I feel like vaulting is good, but it can be a wee bit annoying when you're trying to get your guy into cover, but the mouse is, instead of the mouse, getting your guy into cover, it goes to the wee hopping over the fence or the brick wall arrow, which allows your guy to vault over, and I feel like that needs to be slightly fixed. But other than that, I feel like vaulting does need to be kind of happen, need to be kind of fixed in general. Not too much, because I still feel like it's quite good, although there's some needs to be things added on, such as the things that I've said. And also, let us vault in first person, I 100% agree, because there's no actual button that you can press to vault over in directing control in a in a person, you know, when you're controlling a soldier. And that's basically every first person shooter actually. In every game that you're able to vault over something, a brick wall, a fence, anything in any other game, but Gatesfeld does not do this. So I feel like able to vault in first person makes this game feel a lot more realistic and makes it feel more like a first person shooter when it comes to jumping over fences or vaulting in first person, if that makes sense. So that is number 2. Number 3 is fix the janky spinning in direct control. A lot of these comments, by the way, are a lot to do with direct control and some kind of maybe some conquest comments, but for this one I kind of agree with this, because I do agree with it, but I haven't really had any major issues with the spinning, the janky spinning. I presume that means like when you're direct control and then you're moving your soldier kind of all like looking 360 degrees. It does feel a wee bit janky and I feel a wee bit loose. There's no kind of, I don't really feel like I don't have much. I don't know, it feels quite quick and it feels quite janky, I guess the word is, as the person used it here. So I don't really know how I would really explain it, except from the fact that when you are first person, it just does feel a wee bit janky. It doesn't feel like direct control when you're looking all around. It doesn't feel quite right. It feels like it moves too fast. Like when you're moving from when you're looking one way to the other, it moves quite fast and it feels quite slow. So again, kind of all over, and I feel like that needs to be worked on a wee bit and make it a wee bit more smoother. So yeah, a wee bit janky for spinning in direct control, yeah, I agree with. Number 4, add a tiny bit of dynamic gun sway and recoil. Now, I'm, again, as I've said multiple times on this channel, I'm no kind of gun expert when it comes to dynamic gun sway and recoil. If anybody's more kind of, you know, got a more knowledgeable, you know, access to what this guy's saying, then please let me know. But from my perspective of what I understand, is that it now only says a wee bit, so it seems like what he's saying just now is that it's actually it is good, but it feels like we get a tiny bit of improvement for dynamic gun sway and recoil. So recoil, I think, if I get this right, is that when you hold a gun and then it kind of goes back into your shoulder, so you kind of feel like an effect, like the gun pushes it into your shoulder. I think that's a recoil, although I feel like I be completely wrong in that, and a lot of you will probably absolutely just hate me right now, but for those who, if I am right, I think that's what it means. And also I feel like maybe when you're in direct control, when the gun shoots, I feel like maybe like the soldier should maybe like feel the effect of the gun, so when it shoots you can feel that recoil, you know, of the soldier, kind of the gun hitting against his shoulder or something like that. I presume that's where kind of like the gun is aimed, it's quite high and it's kind of maybe the back of the gun is pressed towards maybe the shoulder / the chest. So maybe when you're in direct control, you could maybe get the feeling, or you should be able to, you know, see when the soldier shoots, you know, when he shoots, you know, there's no movement at all, there's no recoil, you don't actually see it. So I think maybe that's what he's adding, but I'm not 100% sure on that. A lot of you might need to let me know what that means. Number 5, when you have a squad and you move them, if one unit is close but the squad leader is far, the man who is already close to the move order will run away from it to regroup with the squad. This fucks up a major amount of plays. I think I get what this means. So what it means, maybe in more simpler terms, is that when you basically spawn a squad and then you tell a whole group to move in one position and then only the squad leader moves forward, and then the rest, and then you have to re-click like the whole group, and then the squad basically goes back to go forward again to the squad leader. I think that's what it means, like to regroup with the squad leader. And this, I 100% agree. I've had many issues like that before, and I feel like Gatesfeld do need to fix this. And it's just really annoying because that basically start the battle, you lose the seconds that you have to get in position, and then the enemy are able to get in position and basically just cut you down, or the AI basically just cut you down because they don't have that same effect. I feel like I 100% agree with this. If has anybody had any other issues like this, and let me know in the comments down below. I hope I've kind of able to simplify that a wee bit better for you, in terms of, you know, the way I've explained it. And again, I would say it just wastes so much of kind of the starting of the battle, and this needs to be addressed. And I feel like that could be something that could be addressed in the next update, hopefully, if it comes. So moving on to number 6. More wounded, stunned animations give us a nonce and brutality of war. Perfect environment for some chaotic wandering and explosive pauses during chaos. If you want that made, just use the freaking cheat mod. The amount of explosions you can use in that just absolutely just blows up your game and crashes it. And I feel like that's the best way to do it. But, and maybe in more serious talking terms, I kind of get what you mean, because with the animations in the game, it is actually very good. Like the way you're able to heal a guy, the medic does the animation of like CPR, I think it is, and definitely not mouth to mouth, but you get my point of doing the CPR. You see the animation of CPR, I think, on a soldier. But the animations are a bit naff, and I feel like they could be improved upon. I mean, even when a soldier is kind of healing himself, it does actually show maybe the soldier actually like wrapping a bandage around his leg or around his arm or whatever it is, but you don't actually see maybe the bandage. So that's maybe a cool thing to add, is maybe you actually see the injuries that the soldiers have got and maybe add bandages. But then again, that could just be far too complex and too complicated for just a game like this. Specifically when you want to try and sort out other things like bugs and gameplay and new factions and all that. But yeah, I guess it is because you are in the middle of war. You know, World War II was one of the biggest wars of periods of life, and I know that makes no sense, but and a lot of people do know about this from school, but it doesn't really show the brutality of war, because all it just shows is that you get a squad and a lot of them maybe get killed, but you don't really think about the soldiers who get killed because, you know, they're just soldiers. You can respawn them again. So, but then again, I'm not going that deep into it, but this guy is obviously. But then again, he must be like joking around when he says like nonce or brutality of war. So maybe he's making a slight joke in that one, but then again, who knows? Number 7. When giving a move order, let the AI cover and bond more effectively, actively suppressing high priority targets while moving up and leapfrogging. This is attempted, but the system's not perfect. Perhaps for more veteran units, they can be more effective at this. Yeah, 100%. I 100% agree. Now, I actually have seen the advantage of this, and yes, it says that the word attempted is very much, I guess, vaguely used in this, you know, this point here, because it's not been fully effective yet, but it is being attempted, and maybe Gatesville are still working on this. And I 100% agree. Maybe when soldiers, you see when, you know, soldiers are moving to position, they either stop and fire, or they keep shooting and they're moving towards the cover that they're going to. And this allows them to kind of shoot and move at the same time, which is an absolute amazing kind of mechanic and animation. But then again, it's not perfect, and I feel like, again, it could be more effective. I 100% agree. It could be more effective and a wee bit more realistic. But then again, there maybe should also maybe be like a suppressing icon at the top of like group soldiers. So maybe when kind of like in Gates of Hell, not Company of Heroes 3 or Company of Heroes game, you see when soldiers are getting suppressed, you see like an icon at the top and you see the soldiers getting down. There could maybe be something like that implemented into the game, showing that the men are suppressed and maybe they start falling back or to, you know, the base and then recuperate and then go back out again. I know that's something that Company of Heroes do, but it would be cool to add a system like this into Gates of Hell, and such of actively suppressing high priority targets. Because Gates of Hell, I think when soldiers shoot, you ask them who to shoot at, but they don't do it all the time. They shoot at multiple targets at once, and whoever they see in sight. So I think maybe if Gates of Hell implemented a system where they concentrated on the target that you selected, such as high priority targets, or they automatically target the high priority targets, and then if you want to switch to another target, then they do that. There should be something. It should be more effective, and it should be actively suppressing high priority targets, because it doesn't do that all the time. And it mainly, if you tell soldiers to go into cover, sometimes they'll just run into cover without suppressing any of the enemy. So 100% get that. Number 8. Tell me what you think of, by the way, that, because that is quite an interesting point there, and I feel like it should possibly be addressed too as well. Number 8. In Conquest, let us end the mission. I keep all unrepaired equipment, vehicles, ammo, and guns without having to run around for 30 minutes after battle. If you don't repair things on the field, then you will pay more to fix after battle. Yeah, I 100% agree with this. This has been such a pain in the backside, especially, and I do this tactic all the time. Once the battle's done, I don't exit, I actually press continue to, repair any enemy vehicles that are, have got tanks or anything that are basically better equipped than us at the start of the battle. Because some of the times that AI, when you do go on conquest, you basically have to try and salvage what the enemy have, because most of the time they might have better equipment than you, or useful equipment such as mortars or machine guns or whatever it is, or AT guns even. So you see this, I strongly believe that you should actually keep all the unrepaired equipment and vehicles ammo. But then again, if you're not actually, I feel like you should still be in the vehicle but not repair it, because all this guy just said is that you should let us keep all the unrepaired equipment, vehicles and ammo without having to run around for 30 minutes after the battle. I agree, but at the same time that if you don't actually capture it, you don't get a soldier in it, then it shouldn't be yours because you didn't capture it. You've kind of just left it there for it to kind of just, move on. So I believe that you should be able to capture it, but you shouldn't need able to repair it. But then again, you are able to still do that. You still are able to get the vehicle. If a soldier is in an AT gun or a tank, then you do keep it after the battle is finished once a guy's in it, but you do have to repair it at your own cost. So maybe instead of letting us keep all the unrepaired equipment without capturing it, you should let us capture it first, but then not let us pay for any of the broken stuff, the unrepaired equipment, because it's the enemy's target, it's the enemy's equipment, but then again, you're trying to use it. So it kind of comes to this kind of complicated conversation, or I don't know, topic, I guess, that I do agree with it, because it does save you 30 minutes, because 30 minutes is pretty a realistic accusation or of what we have to do as players. But I don't think keeping it without actual capturing it is fair. But then again, I do agree with the point where it says we do have to run around for 30 minutes, because that is true and it is a real pain. So let me know what you think of this part here. Do you agree for the fact that that we should be able to keep all unrepaired equipment vehicles without capturing it, or do you agree that we do have to capture it and still have to pay for it? So let me know in the comments down below. Second last point. A small amount of procedural generation could make this game a forever piece. I really don't know what that means by that. I'm not going to attempt and try and understand it, because I'll sound like a complete dumbass if I do. So if anybody understands, what this means, then let me know in the comments down below. Or if the guys watching this who made this, let me know, because I don't quite understand what this means on point 9. And last point, the last point, which is 10. Let us set up how deep into conquest we start. I've restarted far too many times, and I've lost the plot of at least of the last conquest, or I forgot what my compositions were. Yeah, I 100% agree. The amount of times that I've had to restart conquest and then I've completely just lost a plot, or lost how many times the amount of saves that I've got for conquest is quite unbelievable. So I do believe how far we should go into conquest, but then again, that doesn't really help with gameplay wise. Like, it doesn't help you learn the basics of the game, because conquest should be able to help you understand the game as well, with starting off with absolutely nothing and then building it up over time to the best tanks or best AT guns and all that. So I do understand it, but if you want to choose to start at the end of the battle, I know nobody would do it, but if this guy, what he's suggesting is possible, then you could start towards the end of the campaign, and you could have the best tanks and the best stuff possible. But then again, how would the points work? Would you, if you started towards the end of the battle, would you get a lot of points to be able to unlock everything? Or if you go to the end of the battle, end of the campaign, would you have to start from nothing, like at the start of the beginning of a campaign, whereas the enemy has basically everything towards the end of a campaign that they would have? So if that makes sense. So in that case, it wouldn't really work. But if you wanted to maybe start in the middle of the campaign, again, you would have to start from the first point. You'd have to start from, the very beginning of, you know, researching stuff, and you're halfway through it. And again, the AI could be set up having a lot of research stuff more than you halfway through the campaign. So in that case, I don't know if it's really worth it. But then again, I kind of agree, but I kind of disagree. I know I said I agree with them all, but in this case, I kind of disagree with this one because it doesn't give you a proper opportunity to possibly, you know, go learn the game properly, learn all the units, because each unit is different, and able to kind of learn about them, play with them, definitely helps you learn the game and understands the game of the units more. But then again, I understand what you're saying, because sometimes starting from the start of the campaign and then finishing it towards the end can just be brutally long and can last hours or even days. Doesn't matter. Sometimes it's actually lasts me weeks. Like, I don't play Gates of Hell every day, but I certainly do play it a lot. But the amount of times I do a campaign and I do it like a very long and all that, then yeah. But then again, you can choose how long you want the campaign, but you can't actually choose how deep into the conquest you want to. Like I said, the mids of the conquest or the end, you can't choose that, but you can choose how long you want the campaign to be. But I don't know if I agree with this point here, but then again, I understand why you put it, because sometimes conquest campaigns can just be brutally long, and sometimes you just want to skip to the more exciting parts of the battle, you know, where you have tanks and artillery and proper AT guns. So I do understand that, but from my point, I kind of slightly do disagree with that. But there you go, guys. That is it. That is a couple of improvements that should be made to Gates of Hell. But what do you think of these changes? Do you think that, do you agree with them all? Or do you think that, do you not agree with them and you think that some of these points are absolutely just stupidity and, you know, it doesn't make complete sense? But other than that, guys, I hope you did enjoy today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, I'll try and post maybe some shorts or a video during midweek, but I am away on holiday. But I hope you did enjoy today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and Ostfront, and I will see you in the next video. See you later, and goodbye.